Hello, and welcome to Product Launches in the New Normal, presented by BASF. I'm Eden Stewart, Associate Managing Editor of Perfumer and Flavorist magazine. In this presentation, BASF will offer a look at two of its latest ingredients, Velberry and Isobionics Santalol. Before we begin today's session, I have a few housekeeping notes. The Q&A text box to the upper right of your screen is like instant messaging. Send in your questions as they occur to you, and we will do our best to respond to them during the live Q&A following the presentation. Any questions that we don't get to, we will follow up with offline. Do you like what you see? If so, share it at any time during this presentation by using the Share This icons on the lower left of your screen. Thank you for attending. Now, on with the presentation.
Dear valued audience, welcome to the webcast Valberry and Isobionics Santalol. What can you expect from us today? 2 new scents to let your business fly. First of all, we wish to let your creativity run wild and create something unique with Valberry. This totally new to the world ingredient will help to differentiate fragrance creations with its sweet, fresh, fruity note. Save natural resources by using Isobionic Santalol. This is the best alternative to sandalwood oil. Questions? Yes, you will talk to our experts, namely us, in the Q&A session. Please let me introduce my very charming and talented colleague Silke. Silke is a very considerable person in BASF Aroma Ingredients. She has a fair history in our company with jobs from regulatory to innovation. She is, as I said, a very charming lady with a lot of power for aroma ingredients. You will feel this power later on in our webcast. And I can just tell you, to complete the picture, she is fully responsible for the launch of our new aroma ingredients.
Thank you, Wolfgang. So kind. So I would like to introduce Nadine. Nadine is a real shooting star in the bio industry with a very strong R&D basis. So she's a chemist by heart and has a real obsession for industrial bioprocesses.
Thank you, Silke. I have the honor to introduce my colleague Wolfgang. Wolfgang is part of BASF's aroma inventory for more than 25 years and has more than 35 years of experience with terpenes, so he's a real expert. And if I look at him, I must say all this experience and long time in the aroma world did not cause any gray hair. He's still blonde and very passionate for this industry.
Congratulations, Silke. How do you feel about your launch product, Valberry?
So happy.
What a long but successful job. I'm really convinced by this innovative new product. It is a perfect fit with the BASF spirit and our strengths. After all this long hard work and preparation, it's time for the launch.
Yes, finally. When we first smelled this new material, we knew this could be something innovative, a real new blockbuster. We used our network of perfumers to get their opinions. They were interested and the broad market was too. We showed Valberry as an early-stage development candidate at WPC 2018. The visitors ranked 5 substances, and Valberry was their favorite. And now it's available to everyone. The first samples are already on their way to our customers.
To give our audience an impression, I will smell it right now and try to describe it. Wow! It is a fresh, sweet, fruity material, inspiring. Raspberry and some other berry tones are especially significant, but I also get a feeling of fruity freshness, a freshness which is totally different from the fresh cooling aspect that we know from the mint portfolio. Besides the gourmet character of the substance, I also smell woody, powdery and some green undertones. Very nice, very charming, really inspiring.
This is exactly what Valberry delivers in any kind of creation. In several demo formulations, it convinced our partners in perfumery, especially its versatility. Sometimes it emphasizes the fresh character of fragrances. In others, it gives additional volumes while providing a blooming effect. There are also demos where it creates a complete new fruity impression.
talking to perfumers, they told us that this product can cover demands in all kinds of fragrance applications, from personal care to home and air care, especially in diffusers, aerosols, solvent-based air freshener systems, and systems in which the solvent has a top note. Velberry is effective at covering its most pleasant character on solvents due to its softening profile and its volatility. In personal care products such as shower gel and shampoo, Velberry enhances the top note profile and increases the volume and the body impression of the overall fragrance. This characteristic carries over to the laundry application.
That's right. Velberry is the perfect building block.
Because it also has a very good price-performance ratio.
Yes, it does. We're convinced that Velberry will give perfumers the freedom to differentiate their creations. Listening to the F&F industry, we understood that this is a pain point and we want to address it. Consumers are searching for something new.
I just want to stress this point once more, dear Silke. Velberry is totally new to the world. It opens the door for new fragrance creations and it inspires the creativity of our partners.
From my former position on the regulatory affairs team, I have to add an important point. Velberry has a superior toxicological profile. It is not classified according to CLP. Another increasingly important aspect for our partners is sustainability, and Velberry is readily biodegradable.
To sum it up for our audience, Velberry is fresh, fruity, sweet. It's a perfect building block that brings a blooming effect to any fragrance creation. It's classification-free, biodegradable and available at an affordable price level. There is just one more open question, Silke. Where can I get samples?
Yeah, this is super easy, Wolfgang. Just go to our Velberry product page and fill out the order form. We will send you 20 grams for free.
Perfect, Silke. But before our valued audience heads to this page, let me welcome Nadine to the webcast. Welcome, Nadine.
Thank you, Wolfgang. It's a pleasure to introduce Isobionic Santalol with you.
It's also a great pleasure to introduce it with you, Nadine. I know Sandalwood, and I'm sure everyone listening to us right now does too. We should start by explaining the advantages of our biotech-based Isobionic Santalol.
The most important aspect, Isobionic Santalol is 100% free of endangered sandalwood trees. It is a bio-based sandalwood node and it is produced from renewable raw materials by fermentation. The starting material for the process is cornstarch obtained from corn grown in Europe.
Sandalwood oil is extracted from the white sandalwood tree Santalum album. Plantations of sandalwood trees exist mainly in India, but also they are found in quite distant spots of the world, such as Australia or Caledonia. They can be harvested after 15 years at the earliest, but high yields and good oil quality is only achieved from trees aged 30 to 40 years or more.
Exactly. And this led in particular to harvesting mature trees, which are most relevant for propagation. Due to the continuing depletion of the white sandalwood tree over decades, the species is now listed on the IUCN Red List. Sandalwood and its oil are deeply connected to India's culture, and in order to save it from extinction, the Indian government strictly regulates plantations, harvesting, and trading of the woods and its products. We learn from that there is a demand for alternative developments.
Totally right, Nadine. Bad weather condition, harvest or start conditions influence the quality of sandalwood oil. This is why it's not sufficiently available for the F&F industry in consistent quality and at fair, steady prices. Our new product is our response to the unchecked market demand. Isobionic Santalol is a real alternative to sandalwood oil. We promise you that.
And let me highlight something else. The quality of our Santalol is consistently high because our fermentation technology lets us strictly control all conditions. This technology also makes it possible to produce year-round without weather-related restrictions. The result is the most important advantage for the F&F industry. The reliable availability of fermentation-based ingredients reassures our customers and simplifies delivery processes.
Let's talk about the fermentation process that really makes the difference. Isobionics, acquired by BASF in September 2019, is a leader in biotechnology. Their portfolio is based on fermentation processes.
Fermentation is an ancient cultural technique you all know from processes such as brewing beer and baking bread. The Isobionics team uses a proprietary platform based on Rhodobacter sphaerodes. Products do not have any yeasty off-notes and are thus ideally suited for flavor and fragrance applications. Fermentation becomes particularly interesting when plant products reach their limits. Innovation in that area can reconstruct highly complex molecules, providing easy access to natural aroma ingredients with convincing purity and efficient product processes.
Okay, Nadine, I'm totally convinced that this process is unique, and the product is as well. Isobionic Santalol represents the hard note of sandalwood oil. It is very woody, fine, and especially suits applications for any kind of fine fragrances. Also, high-quality personal care products. In fragrance compositions, the Sandalwood brings more volume and warmth. Floral, oriental, fine fragrances are clearly enhanced by the creamy, impactful, and extraordinary sandalwood note.
Thank you for describing that so nicely. I'm totally convinced. So let me summarize. Isobionic Santalol guarantees a reliable supply, stable pricing, and a consistently high quality while conserving natural resources. I'm sure that our audience will be pleased to smell this excellent quality in samples, applications, and soon in final products of the highest value.
Great story, Nadine. I promise you, you will get so many orders after our webcast.
Thank you to BASF for that wonderful presentation. Now, we will transition to your questions and our live Q&A.
Here we go.
All right. Thank you all for such an insightful presentation. Now we'll be entering the Q&A portion wherein the BASF team will be answering your questions. So our first question is there a Valberry flavor profile?
Hello, this is Silke. No, Valberry is just intended to be used as a fragrance ingredient.
Excellent. And can Valberry be claimed as natural?
Oh no, this is also a no. Valberry is it's a synthetic ingredient and is based on petrochemicals.
All right. Now let's see. The next question we have says, Valberry sounds incredible. Are you ready to sell commercial quantities now, like in drums or tons of product?
Yes, we have plenty on stock. So whenever you want to try it, just request a sample or place your order.
Great. Now, what biological interventions were used in the making of Santolol?
Hi, this is Nadine speaking. I guess you're referring to the invention. So one of the strengths is really the platform Isobionics developed over time. So the bacteria platform, which is called Rhodobacter. And those Rhodobacter sphaerodes are used for the synthesis of terpenes. So for more technical deep dive on that, we are happy to follow up after this session.
Great. And for our next question, we have an attendee who'd like to know how different is this molecule from the original? And I'm guessing this is applying to Santolol.
Okay, so I'm guessing this refers to the comparison with the natural sandalwood oil that can be found in nature. Actually, Isobionic Santalol is a mixture of different components, whereas really the said better Santalol content is one of the main aspects and one most important ingredients that can also be found in the natural composition. And there, the strength of Isobionic Santalol is that the Z to E ratio of this component is equal to the Santalol that can be found in nature.
Okay. Now our next question is, where does the biomass come from?
So the raw material for the fermentation that is based on cornstarch generated out of corn that was grown in Europe. So the starting point for the fermentation is glucose. It's not the biomass, it's glucose, but that was obtained from cornstarch. Very technical questions.
We also have very smart and technical attendee base.
Yeah, sure. Happy to answer.
Now, we have an attendee who would like to know if Valberry is color stable.
So we haven't really evaluated this, but the material we have on stock, so taking a look at this over time, we did not see any discoloration. And also in the applications which we have tried, which were some shampoos and some fine fragrance demonstrations, we did not see any discoloration. So this is also an advantage over, for instance, the other sweet notes like maltol or vanillin, where you often see discoloration. We have not seen this with Valberry.
Great. Now our next question, we have an attendee who asked if these flavors are food grade, and I'm guessing that this would just apply to Valberry.
No, Valberry is no food, no aroma ingredient, so Valberry cannot be used in food.
So maybe if it was not here, I can add a comment on Santalol, so just to make it complete.
Yeah.
And also here, I mean, the target usage is really the fragrance industry, so we do not recommend it for food grade. But just to avoid confusion, generally all fermented products from Isobionics are produced under food grade standards. However, we have not done the complete evaluation and do not recommend it therewith for food usage.
Now, we have a few questions kind of along these lines. I think this will probably kind of encapsulate all of them. But we would like, we have a few attendees who would like to know that if Santalol has an ISO standard.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Oh yes, no problem. I got a little tongue-tied there. Natural sandalwood has an ISO standard, and we have an attendee who would like to know if Santalol has an ISO standard.
So, I mean, the production has been conducted under ISO standards. Otherwise, I would hand over Silke and maybe Chuan, if you have a better idea of what is meant with this question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, not to be honest, I do not understand what the ISO question comes from, except from production, and we're fully ISO certified in our production. So I don't know what's exactly meant here. Mm-hmm. Perhaps in the next question he could.
All right. Well, our next question is: are there any GMO concerns regarding Isobionic the Isobionic products of Santalol? Thank you.
No, there aren't. So, I mean, in the fermentation, the Rhodobacter platform is used. However, there is no microorganism that can be found in the final product, and therewith we do not fall under GM or GM containing requirements. So no, from the product there are no concerns with regards to microorganisms.
Great. And let's see here what else. So we have an attendee who would like to know who would be the best person to contact if they're interested in learning more about the fermented aroma chemicals in the BASF portfolio.
Mm-hmm. So actually that would be me for the general biotech aroma ingredients. And if it's a more specific question that also, for example, is related to the Isobionics portfolio, so the citrus portfolio, or specific questions on Santalol, that would be the Isobionics contact. Mark van Leuven, Twan Jansen, or myself.
All right, now our next question is it challenging to maintain the stability of Santalol?
Actually, no. That is one of the big advantages of this fermentation process. So all variations are within the normal variations you see in fermentation-based ingredients. So, but that is one of the big advantages that the process conditions can be controlled very nicely, and that in the end, really the final product and the final Centrolog in a constant quality is obtained.
Great. We have an attendee who would like to know if Santalol has already been tested with perfumers, and if so, what their feedback was.
Yeah, that's a very, I could talk about that 15 minutes. So we already shared a few samples with some perfumers of our virtual innovation ecosystem. So we have a network of perfumers within BASF that have a relationship to BASF. And also some perfumers of a few customers gave us some feedback. So generally, the material is, we really have a very positive on the quality of the material. And what was really a very nice feedback, that the Santalol really brings a generous warmth to formulations, and that it brings volume to formulations. And generally, the material was perceived as very gentle, and really representing, like said, the hard note of Sandalwood. So far, the feedback was very positive. And I hope when you smell a sample that you will agree and that we can keep this positive momentum upright.
Definitely. Now, we have an attendee who would like to know what other fruity ingredients in a perfumer's palette that Velberry might compete with. So I don't know if you guys are all comfortable answering this one.
I will answering this one. So Velberry is a very interesting material. So it really combines. It's a unique combination of scents. So it goes a little bit in the raspberry direction, but it is not really competitive to one material. So it is a kind of the maybe kind of fructolate, but it's not as strong as these materials. So it has a versatile use, and it brings different kind of fruity aspects into your fragrance. But it does not compete to one single fruity ingredient.
Great. We have an attendee who would like to know if there are any other new Isobionic products like on the horizon, anything they should be looking out for.
I will answer that, Twan Jansen. We have introduced next to Santalol 4 new products, but they are flavor products in 2020, and we're expecting to again introduce 4 new products in 2021. If you want to know all those most are citrus products on the flavor side, and probably then we will also move to more fragrance products. If you want to know them, please give us a call.
Great. Now we have an attendee who would like to know if Santalol replaces sandalwood oil, or if it needs to be blended with other ingredients to replace sandalwood oil.
Mm-hmm. So it is not a full replacement of sandalwood oil because the Santalol represents the hard note of sandalwood oil. So this means one aspect of the full organoleptic profile. However, compared to the ingredients that are already in the market or compared with the character many synthetic versions bring, into formulations, the advantage is really the volume, the warmth, the strength of this material. So it's really, again, a very gentle, soft, and woody character. So, yeah, I would not see it as a one-to-one replacement, but really something that brings the warmth that is associated with the natural sandalwood oil.
Great. So we actually answered this already about Velberry, but when it comes to Santolog, does it bear a natural claim?
No, Santalol is not labeled as natural. So it is a fermentation-based product, so based on the renewable raw material. However, the final production step is a chemical synthesis step. So overall, it is biotech-based, it is renewable-based, but it does not have a natural claim.
Great. Now, this question has come up a couple of times, but attendees would like to know about pricing. So with Velberry specifically, could they get a rough idea? They'd like to know if they could get a rough idea of the pricing or perhaps the price band.
Yeah, so for Valberry, this is the building block, and the price is also in this range. But for details, I would really recommend to contact your sales representative to get a detailed information on the price.
Okay, and what about Santolol? So that has come up with Santolol as well. If there could be, I'm guessing the question is the same, that they need to kind of reach out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No problem. So compared to the price level of the natural sandalwood oil, it is really a cost-competitive alternative. So that is what I can share. And also there, in this round, I would not go into more detail and would really engage you to pick it up with our sales colleagues from Isobionic, Mark van Deuven. But compared with the natural, and that is really what we're looking for, it is a good alternative, also cost-wise.
Okay, and we
I
have
would add to that it's extremely competitive on pricing, so please give us a call.
All right, we have an attendee who would like to know if Santolol can be used in medicinal and cosmetic formulations directly.
So Santalol does fall under, like all the other ingredients, then under chemical law. So what we are currently doing is we have submitted a REACH registration that will be finalized next year. So all the tests and everything have been run. So it can be used in the cosmetics industry, in cosmetic formulations. Yeah, I hope that answered the question. I'm not so sure what you mean by medicinal and cosmetics directly. So maybe if you need some more detail, either specify it or contact us afterwards.
Great. We have an attendee who would like to know which Santolol isomers are present in the product and in what ratio.
So yeah, that question relates to the E and Z beta ratio of the Santalol. So as said, it is like in the natural sandalwood oil, so the beta Santalol content is minimum 15%. The alpha, that is a detailed answer I give you because I have the feeling the question was very technical. So beta ratio would be minimum 15%, alpha Santalol 40%, and there with the ratio is comparable to the natural sandalwood oil. But of course, more details on specification and everything can also be shared after this session.
All right, and let's see. We have an attendee who would like to know what the CAS number is for Velberry.
On the CAS number for Valberry, there I would recommend to use the link in the resources list on your right side. So there you will be directed to a Valberry page. And if you scroll down, you will find the information and the chemical structure and the CAS number of Valberry.
Wonderful. Now, we got so many incredible questions about these products, and of course, the BASF team will be happy to answer any of the ones that we didn't get to during this live Q&A later on. But before I let everybody go, I would like to let our audience know that BASF would request that they complete a very brief survey regarding the presentation. Now, you can find that survey on the lower right in the resource list. I'd like to thank Silke, Nadine, and Wolfgang, the whole BASF team, and I'd like to also thank our audience for attending. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.